Hey everyone, Keenan Gray here, back for another edition of DyeStat Discussions. Maggi Congdon is our guest here on the show from Northern Arizona University, of course, the number one ranked team in the country this year, and a group that, well, seeking vengeance from last year after finishing second at nationals and is wanting to win a national championship for the first time in program history. And that road continues on at the pre-nationals meet this weekend in Madison, Wisconsin. Maggi, appreciate your time. Tell us, like I say vengeance, but I feel like there might be a better word to describe that. But I mean, like there's a lot of up and up for this program. Why is that?
Yeah, I think I think some people might look at it as vengeance, and I think for us it's kind of still just this progression we've been on for the past couple years. I think we've just been able to improve our team culture a lot, and I think that's just attracted the right people, and we've been able to kind of get some key transfers and get a lot of fast freshmen and just kind of grow that team both on the culture side and on the the talent side. So I think I think just we put a lot of work into making sure we were thinking the right things and, always like having a really close team environment. And I think that was able to bring in some certain people that helped us elevate our team to the next level. And it's just kind of been a pretty smooth trajectory the last couple years. Well, I wouldn't say smooth, but it's been, an upward trajectory. So
It's such a rarity in college sports now, with the transfer portal and people moving schools. Like I believe you've been at NAU all 4 years. Again, you can correct me if I'm. Yeah, so you're one of the
I've
rarities that have been within the program. So you've been through the ups and the downs of Northern Arizona. What's the biggest thing that you've seen on, at least on the women's side, that has taken that next step to elevating them into a perennial team?
Yeah, I think there were definitely a couple years, like my first few years, where we had a good team and we had a lot of talented women, and I think the confidence part was what was missing. It just felt like when we get to the big races, it was hard for us to feel like we belonged there because it was just a new environment and we weren't used to racing there and knowing how to like race in such a big environment. And I think we've been able to kind of figure that out and become a lot more confident in ourselves as a team and know that we belong there and we belong with some of the best teams in the country. And I think that plays a bigger role than a lot of people realize, like just knowing that that's where you're supposed to be. And then, yeah, obviously, just continuing to progress um, our talent and working really hard and working together as a team just to keep improving. So
Yeah. But I think also part of that reason why is you yourself have stepped up tremendously the last couple of years. We saw it last spring during outdoor season where you were a finalist in the NCAA for the 1500, and then a couple weeks later were a finalist in your first ever U.S. Olympic trial. I mean, how much of a high off of that season has really carried over to this fall season for you?
yeah, I think it's been a big help having that season go the way it did. I think kind of a similar thing just from a confidence standpoint. Um, track has always been my better season, I would say, but I think coming off of that, I was able to just have a little bit of more confidence coming into the cross country season and knowing that I can race cross country just as well as I can race track. And just, yeah, definitely just the belief part, I think makes a huge difference. Just knowing where I should be and knowing that I'm capable of doing that.
We're talking about you getting closer to the 4 minute barrier, which only three women in collegiate history have ever broken that barrier. Of course, most recently Claudia Kazmierska. But I mean, when you look at that, and when you first stepped on campus in Flagstaff, is that something you would have imagined? Now, I know you are an 800, 1500 runner, but like, were you imagining yourself even remotely close to being in the 4 minute range?
No, definitely not. I think a lot of my college career has come as a surprise to me, which I feel very fortunate because I've been able to have, a pretty linear progression, which is obviously not the most common thing. And so, yeah, I would say honestly, each year I have definitely surprised myself. And I think, yeah, it's not something I expected, but very grateful that I was able to do.
What do you attest that to?
I think just consistency and just staying with it whether it's going well or not going well, or you're injured and you have to cross train, or you're healthy and it's perfect. You just have to be consistent no matter what. And I think one reason I'm able to be so consistent is just because of, our coaches and our team. And when everyone's trying to do that, when you have a team and you're surrounded by people that are trying to do the same thing, I don't want to say it makes it easy, but it makes it a lot easier when you have people that are doing the same thing around you and can just guide you towards that. Yeah.
Who's really been in your corner these last couple of years? Whether it's, maybe it's Coach Smith, maybe it's previous teammates, current teammates. Like, who's been in the one that's been like saying, "Hey, Maggie, like, just keep doing your thing and let everything take care of itself"?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could like say one specific person, but it really is like our whole team. Like, I think that's one thing that's so special. And I know I keep saying it, but it really is like my teammates are my family, and like they're the ones that have made this possible, because like, one, I can see them working so hard and that makes me want to work hard. But then also, it's when I know I'm working hard for a team, I can just keep doing that. And I think, definitely all my coaches, like that, getting coached by Coach Smith is a very unique experience. And I think he has such a great ability of knowing how to progress an athlete from where they were, in high school, and keep progressing them. And also just the mental side and keeping you thinking the right things and making sure, you're keeping your head screwed on right, and just, staying focused. So.
Keep mentioning the fact that you were a middle distance person coming into college, but I'm looking at the times you've ran so far this year, and I'm thinking you're starting to become a little bit of a cross country runner yourself, especially what we saw at the Joe Piani Invitational, the George Kite Classic. That's probably the most impressed with, is basically taking off a minute of what you ran the year before. Again, going back to the whole track thing, is this just because of all the momentum you had at the end of that summer season?
I think partially it definitely is. I think a lot of it also is just a accumulation of, the last 4 years. I think because I've always been more of a middle distance runner, the longer endurance side has just kind of been a much slower build for me. And I think, I think it has just been kind of slowly coming together each year. I think, getting the confidence in the track season kind of allowed me to really use what I've gained for the, for cross country. And I think also just the way we train here, like whether you're a middle distance runner or not, you're going to become a cross country runner just because of the way we train. And so I think, just kind of all those pieces just kind of really fit together this season. So.
In years past, has cross country been a favorite thing of yours? Because I know some middle distance runners don't necessarily like it, and they just use it kind of as a training block.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've worked really hard to not do. I've worked really hard to have it be something that I enjoy, and something that, I focus on just as much as I focus on track. I think the team aspect of it is what makes it really fun, and I really have grown to love it equally to track. Definitely the first couple of years I was here was definitely hard, and it was something, it was different and definitely out of my comfort zone, but definitely, now it's equal. And I think that's also something Coach Smith and I have talked about is, not getting to the cross country season and just using I'm a middle distance runner as a cop out, like just making sure I'm still holding myself to the same standard as any other girls on our team. So.
The results are starting to show. Again, like I said, you had a really good showing at the Joe Piani Invitational, and all of you guys really had a great showing there. And that was without Elise Stearns and Allie Upshaw as well. This team is as maybe better than last year's group just because of the numbers and, like the spread between the top 5, top 6, top 7. Like, it's really close. What did you guys take away from that meet, knowing that, one, you were racing up against a really good BYU team, also a really good Notre Dame team. And it's like, all right, let's try to make a statement. Let's show the country that we really are the best team in the country.
Yeah, I think our depth this year is something that we've been able to really use to our advantage, because it just gives you people to run with in the race. And I think that makes a huge difference when our race plans are always based around teammates and find your teammate, run with your teammate. And I think that's what allowed us to have, such a small spread at the Joe Piani Invitational, and just because we're running together, and that's kind of how we get through each race, is just making sure we find each other, making sure we're focusing on each other, and we run all our workouts together, so we might as well run the races together. I think that makes a big difference, because when you're in, a crowded race and there's a lot going on and you just see your teammate, it's kind of a sense of like, I'm in the right place. So
How big of an importance has the addition of Carrie Belga been on the team? Because I know obviously what she was able to accomplish during spring season in the steeple, but even like that quick turnaround from going to Colorado to Northern Arizona, like that could be an adjustment, but she seems like she's fitting in right away.
yeah, Carrie has made a huge difference on our team. Obviously, one, she's really fast, but more than anything, she's just such a positive person, and she just brings such a big personality to our team, and just brings a lot of positivity, and always keeps us, thinking the right things, and like always encouraging us. And I think that makes just as big of a difference as, her talent does. So yeah, we love having Carrie, and she adjusted super quick and just fit right in. And it's been super fun just to see, her progression just from her last cross country season to now, and see how she's, just thriving in the right environment. So.
And then you see someone like Nikita Moore, who's been part of the program as like yourself these last couple of years, who was part of that top 10, but may have not necessarily been at the national championships, but has worked herself up to there. What have you seen from her just this season? I mean, she was the third runner for you guys at Joe Piani and is off to a great start this year.
Yeah, it's been super exciting to see it come together for her, because she's had just a tough time in cross country, just kind of with some injuries and stuff like that. And so I think, she just stayed on it, like every year, just kept coming back, and, she was able to stay healthy over the summer and train really hard. And she's just a really tough racer. So I think, it's really exciting to see it come together for her. And she's capable of more than she even knows. So I'm excited for her.
Yeah. And then tell us a little bit more, about this freshman Ava Mitchell, then, another veteran, Allison Churchill. Like the list just goes on and on about all, like anybody really could probably be in this top 7 lineup, being honest here.
Yeah. That's one of the most exciting things about the season, is just we have so many people that are so close. And I think, like all the top 6 or 7 of us, like we all work out together. We do everything together. Like so I think that's just been able to help us progress so much, because we just, when you're in a race, you can stick with that person whether or not you're used to doing that. It's like we know now, because we do all the workouts together, that we're capable of that. But I think it's really exciting to know that, if someone is out there maybe not having their best day, they're still gonna give it like a really solid effort, and maybe someone else will step up, and no matter what, we're gonna have people, where we want them to be, because we have so much depth. So
Is there something different that you've seen from last year's group to this year's group? Whether it, maybe it's the way you guys run, the way you guys work together, the way you guys just, kind of approach races. Is there anything different you've seen from last year's second place team?
I would say a lot of it is definitely pretty similar. We did have a really strong team last year. I think this year we've been the most consistent that we've ever been, just, hitting all the workouts, getting good team workouts, and I can tell everyone's just been really on top of staying healthy, and, making sure we're doing everything we can to not get injured. I think that's made a big difference. We just have a really healthy team right now. I think that the level of commitment is maybe just like slightly higher, and people just, are even more focused than we were last year.
Yeah. For the longest time, it was really just, we're talking about the men's team at the Northern Arizona. We weren't necessarily talking about the women's team. Like, what's that mean to you guys? Kind of just setting this foundation for this program and setting it up for success, and showing the country that it's not just the men that do all the good work. The women do it too.
Yeah. I think, there was a long period of time, like before I came here, and then the first couple of years I was here, where our coaches would always tell us, like, there's no reason that we can't be just as successful as a team. We have the same coaches, the same workouts, the same everything. And I think, for that to actually come to light and like see that really happen is so gratifying, because there was just a lot of work that I think went in behind the scenes, just making our team as close as we are and making sure we, get along and like spending time with each other. And I think that makes such a big difference. And it's just really, really exciting to see it actually come together.
Well, and it's not just in cross country; it's in track and field as well. There's because the 4x4 team made it to outdoor nationals, which was a huge deal because you got to be a part of that. So not only the fact that it's in cross country, but like now it's surrounding the entire track and field program. Like, how does that happen? Because like, is it just because everyone's so committed? Is it just the mentality? Like, what is it for you guys?
I think it's a combination. I think it's kind of a little bit of a domino effect, when like our cross country team starts having success, and then our track athletes can see that and they can kind of see like, okay, that's possible for me too. So there's no reason I can't also do that. So I think it just, as soon as you see what's kind of possible, it really opens the doors to anything. And I think also for sure our mentality, we try to just keep the team focused throughout every single season, whether it's 3 of us at the NCAA meet or a whole, men and women's team at the cross country nationals. Like, we're trying to just focus on the same things. And I think, that 4x4 was just so exciting because it kind of just showed like, we are a distance school, but we're not just a distance school. Like, we can be good in all these events. And I think people just seeing what's actually possible allows them to have those big goals and work towards those.
Plus, I'm sure you guys are just sick and tired of all the Big Sky Conference teams. Like, let's just put those aside and get us a national championship to replace all that we've won with those Big Sky Conference championships. But part of the reason why you guys have been so successful in the Big Sky and in the national stage is because of Mike Smith. I mean, this guy has put his heart and soul into this program, and unfortunately, he will be gone after next year for you guys and replaced by Coach Cornfield. What has Coach Smith really meant to you, but also the program? Because, like I said, I mean, without him, I don't think this program is where it's at without him.
Yeah, I mean, he is obviously like an enormous part of the growth our program has had, and he's, implemented all the kind of focuses we have and all the mentality, everything like that we try to focus on as a group. He's definitely been the one that's implemented those. I think something that's really special is that now it's not just our coaches that are the ones, kind of preaching those things, but it's like we know them and we make sure we stay focused on those things as well. So I think obviously like, he had a huge impact, and we're all like so grateful for that. But I also know that even without him, that'll carry on, because our team is just as focused on those things as he is, and Coach Cornfield is just as focused on those things as he is. And they work so closely together. So it'll obviously be different, but I think in the end, the values that he set in place will stay there no matter what. So
I know for your sake, you won't be there next year because you're graduating after this year. But what do you remember when Coach Smith was recruiting you, or any of the coaches for that matter? What was the, like kind of the message they told you? Is like, Maggie, we want you. If you come to NAU, you're going to accomplish this, and this is how you're going to do it.
yeah, I think it is kind of funny because I was actually mostly recruited by Coach Cornfield. And then once I came on my visit, obviously I talked to Coach Smith, and I think the main thing they try to tell their athletes when they're recruiting them and once we're here is it's not necessarily about what you accomplish as an athlete, but it's about like who do you become trying to get there. And they're trying to make us better, not just as athletes, but as people. And I think that's something that's so special about NAU is obviously it's great if you accomplish the goals that you set. And like, that's always super exciting, but that's not guaranteed, and things can obviously get in the way. And there's some setbacks that are in your control and aren't in your control. So I think the fact that they try to focus so much more on who you are as a person, how you can grow as a person, getting through those setbacks, just shows so much about our program and so much about what they value. So that was kind of what drew me in was, they're just trying to make us really tough, strong people, wherever that gets us with our running.
And that's personally, I really appreciate that about Coach Smith. He's willing to, push you guys to your limits and see how far you guys can go. And we saw that with a couple of, actually, I think it was 3 athletes from Northern Arizona at the Olympics this year on the men's side. And then, Nikki Hiltz, obviously, they live in Flagstaff. So they're tied in with NAU a little bit. Like, what was that like just watching everybody compete that had ties to NAU at the Olympics this last summer?
Yeah, that was so exciting. I think it's just really cool when you get to witness all the ups and downs of someone's career, and then you also get to witness them like at the highest level of our sport because you know everything that it actually took to get there and you know how much it means for them to be there. So that was just, yeah, super exciting and kind of the same thing I was saying before. Like it just shows you what's possible for us as well. If they can do it, why can't we? So yeah, that was super exciting to see all those athletes represent NAU and Flagstaff, and yeah, super cool.
I got to think though with Nico because I'm sure when he was in school, I mean, I'm sure all you guys were pretty tight with one another. Like to see him, finally once he got over the hump finally of winning a national championship last year, and then to make an Olympic final. I mean that kid's been through so much these last couple of years, and he was finally able to get to the mountaintop. So how proud were you of him to get to that peak?
Yeah, we were so proud of Nico because it's just crazy to think of, just the amount of pressure he's had on him since high school, since coming to college. He's always just had a lot of eyes on him. Everyone's expecting a lot, and I think the fact that he's able to keep performing under all that pressure and just keep staying constant and being committed to it no matter what, all the outside noise, and just keep working towards it because he knows he can do it and he knows what he wants. Yeah, we're all so proud of him, and it's insane to see like how far someone can go just in 4 years.
Just think about it. 2028, Maggie Congdon is representing the United States in Los Angeles in the 1500. Hey, crazier stuff has happened, and you gotta believe. You gotta think crazy if you want this stuff to happen, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So obviously this week, a big test for you guys. A lot of really highly caliber ranked teams are going to be in Madison this week. I know you guys were there last year in the awful torrential downpour of a meet last year
Yeah.
at Nuttycombe, which thank God will not be that will be not be the case this week. It'll be 73 degrees on Saturday. I can guarantee you that. What do you guys kind of expect with this field? And you already got a taste of what BYU and Notre Dame are like, but now you get to see what the University of Washington is like after they won Nuttycombe, and then a North Carolina State team that's kind of in kind of the NAU men's position where they're trying to rebuild a little bit after kind of this
Mhm.
dynasty they had the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think anytime we get a chance, to compete against the best teams in the country and in such a deep field, we're always super excited for that because, that's the meet that is going to mirror the national meet the most. And it's just such an important experience to get being in a big field where it's really fast, it's packed on the national course. So I think, yeah, it's definitely a big meet for us. And I think we're just kind of trying to focus on the same things we always focus on and just not, let the outcome be the outcome and focus on what we're actually going to do when it gets hard in the race. And just, yeah, keep doing what we've been doing. I think if we can do that, it'll land us where we want to be. So yeah, I'm really excited just to get to kind of see the lay of the land and see all the teams that we're going to be competing against at nationals. So
And despite the rain last year, do we like this course?
yeah, I mean, I've definitely had, some good, some bad races on this course, but I think it's kind of the perfect cross country course. There's hills, but it's not insane, and it's a good loop. You get a good big start line. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. This will also be the second time you guys face BYU, which could potentially be two more times after that. I think you're going to get sick and tired of seeing BYU when it's all said and done by the end of the season. But I think you two probably have figured each other by now, and make for a very, very exciting NCAA cross country championship. So, yeah, Maggie, really appreciate your time hopping on here for another DyeStat discussions. Best of luck to you and the NAU women. Of course, everybody can check out the NCAA Division One Wisconsin pre-nationals meet on runnerspace.com on October 19th, this Saturday, starting at 9:45 a.m. Central Time. Maggie, as always, good luck and best of luck to the NAU win.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.